This year, I am 70 years old. I am writing novels since the last 47 years. I started in Istanbul when I was 23. Today, I want to make some general remarks about being a writer for so many years. My comments will be against the cliches of being a writer. Most common of the received ideas about being a writer is inspiration. Yes, inspiration is essential, but the writer's most important secret is not inspiration, it's something else. First, it's never clear where the inspiration comes from. More important is the writer's stubbornness, his patience. Today, I am more proud of my determination to write than my talents, though I am also talented, I think. That lovely Turkish saying, to dig a well with a needle, seems to have been said with writers in mind. In the old stories, I love the patience of Ferhad, who digs through mountains for his love, and I understand it too. In my novel, My Name is Red, when I wrote about the old Persian miniaturists who had drawn the same horse with the same passion for so many years, memorizing each stroke, that they could recreate that beautiful horse even with their eyes closed, I knew I was talking about the writing profession and my own life. Another subject is hope, to be strong against all kinds of horrors and injustice. If a writer is to tell his own story, tell it slowly and as if it were a story about other people. If he to feel the power of the story rise up inside him, if he is to sit down at a table and patiently give himself over to this art, this craft, he must first have been given some hope. The angel of inspiration, who pays regular visits to some and rarely calls on others, favors the hopeful and the confident. And it is when a writer feels most lonely, when he feels most doubtful about his efforts, his dreams, and the value of his writing, when he thinks his story is only his story, it is at such moments that the world he wishes to build, the angel chooses to reveal to him his stories, images, and dreams that will draw out of the world he wishes to build. If I think back on the books to which I have devoted my entire life, I am most surprised by those moments when I have felt as if the sentences, dreams, and pages that have made me as so ecstatically happy have not come from my own imagination, that another power had found them and generously presented them to me. A writer talks of things that everyone knows, but that they do not know, that they know. To explore this knowledge and to watch it grow is a pleasurable thing. The reader is visiting a world at once familiar and miraculous. When a writer shuts himself up in a room for years on and end to hone his craft, to create a world, if he uses his secret wounds as his starting point, he is, whether he knows it or not, putting a great faith in humanity. This is the second important secret of the writer, I think, to believe in a common humanity. My confidence comes from the belief that all human beings resemble each other, that others carry wounds like mine, that they will therefore understand. All true literature rises from this childish, hopeful certainty that all people resemble each other. When a writer shuts himself up in a room for years on end, with this gesture, he suggests a single humanity, a world without a center. On the other hand, it is hard to believe that our lives resemble the lives of other people in the world. There is something in our petty worlds that deny universality. In my books, I have described in some detail how this basic fact evoked a Chekhovian sense of provinciality and how, by another route, it led to my questioning my authenticity. I know from experience that the great majority of people on this earth live with these same feelings and that many suffer from an even deeper sense of insufficiency, lack of security, and sense of degradation than I do. Yes, the greatest dilemmas facing humanity are still landlessness, homelessness, hunger, lack of free speech. But today, our televisions and newspapers tell us about these fundamental problems more quickly and more simply than literature can ever do. What literature needs more to tell and investigate today are humanity's basic fears. The fear of being left outside, the fear of counting for nothing, the strong anxiety of not being important, and the feelings of worthlessness that come with such fears. I always think about the collective humiliations, vulnerabilities, slights, grievances, sensitivities, and imagined insults, and the nationless boats and inflations that are their next of kind. I spent 47 years thinking about these anxieties and express them in my work in different forms and different stories. Whenever I am confronted by such sentiments and by the irrational, overstated language in which they are usually expressed, I know they touch on darkness inside me. We have often witnessed people, societies, and nations outside the Western world, and I can identify with them easily, succumbing to fears and that sometimes lead them to commit stupidities, all because of their fears of humiliations and their sensitivities. I also know that in the West, a world with which I can identify with the same ease, nations and peoples taking an excessive pride in their wealth and in their having both us the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, and modernism, have from time to time succumbed to a self-satisfaction that is as almost stupid. There are many reasons to write, but once we shut ourselves away, we soon discover that we are not as alone as we thought. We are in the company of the words of those who come before us, of other people's stories, other people's books, other people's words, the thing we call tradition. I believe literature to be the most valuable hoard that humanity has gathered in its quest to understand itself. Societies, tribes, and peoples grow more intelligent, richer, and more advanced as they pay attention to the troubled words of their authors. And as we all know, the burning of books and the denigration of writers are both signals that dark and improvident times are upon us. But literature is never just a national concern. The writer who shuts himself up in a room and first goes on a journey inside himself will, over the years, discover the literature's eternal truth. He must have the artistry to tell his own stories as if they were other people's stories, and to tell the other people's stories as if they were his own. For this is what literature is. But we must first travel through other people's stories and books, and that's what they were discussing just here 5 minutes ago. I want to finish my words with what I said 15 years ago in a speech and repeated it so many times. As you know, the question we writers are asked most often, the favorite question is, why do you write? I write because I have an innate need to write. I write because I can't do normal work like other people. I write because I want to read books like the ones I write. I write because I am angry at all of you, angry at everyone. I write because I love sitting in a room all day writing. I write because I can only partake in real life by changing it. I write because I want others, all of us, the whole world, to know that what sort of life we lived and continue to live in Istanbul, in Turkey, my kind of life. I write because I love the smell of paper, pen, and ink. I write because I believe in literature, in the art of the novel, more than I believe in anything else. I write because it's a habit, a passion. I write because I am writing for the last 47 years. I write because I'm afraid of being forgotten. I write because I like the glory and interest that writing brings. I write to be alone. Perhaps I write because I hope to understand why I am so angry, very, very angry at all of you. I write because I like to be read. I write because once I have begun a novel, an essay, a page, and I want to finish it. I write because everyone expects me to write. I write because I have a childish belief in the immortality of libraries, in the way my books sit on the shelf. I write because it is exciting to turn all of life's beauties and riches into words. I write not to tell a story, but to compose a story. I write because I wish to escape from the foreboding that there is a place I must go, but just as in a dream, I can't quite get there. I write because I have never managed to be happy. I write to be happy. Thank you for listening.